my dad wasn't quite born when they had horse-drawn carriages, but his mom was. My grandmother, San Francisco, there's horses pulling streetcars down the road. That would have been what, the 30s?
Right.
It's not that long ago. You think about it, and they went from more electricity, and the first car I think actually was electric, but then they couldn't go very far, so they had gasoline cars, and things made quite a big leap in my dad's generation.
Yeah. All right.
And all of it was for the better. Computers and the internet and everything, half of it's not for the better, and it's ruined music. It's ruined people's attitudes. It's
oh, I know.
Uh,
You're live.
See, everybody was listening and they heard us talking about this crap, they tuned out. Now you're never getting back.
No.
Now, do you pre-record, Ron, or what? Or is it, are we live or what?
Yeah, we're live right now.
Okay. I mean, on your show, people can hear it in real time.
They can real time it, or afterwards I post it on my YouTube channel. So if anybody misses anything, they can go there.
Yeah, cool.
So it kind of, it's like, it's like it's in reruns over on YouTube. I know someone told me that it's also here, it's on Facebook, but it gets lost in the shuffle, after a few days, so, well, I gotta tell you, this has been something I've been listening to a lot lately.
And you have the black and white back, right? That's the one from here.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, yes, that's
what
on the other side, the back of the CDs, but that one has all the spelling mistakes in it. It's sort of it's not rare, but it's more of a collector's item than the one that they put out in England with the record company, because my graphics guy didn't know that Jeff Downs spelled his name with a G. He put him down as Jeff, I think, in the booklets, right? So, and there's a bunch of names spelled wrong in there and stuff. Like, oh my God. In those days, I didn't check anything. Everybody, we were doing our thing, and hey, we're gonna put out the CD, great. Oh, you can do the booklet, great. Yeah, let's send it off. And he sent off their pressing plant, and I don't even read the booklet. I knew what it said, right? And then years later, I'm going, oh no, look at all these mistakes in this thing.
Hey, yeah, because I noticed that on this one, you got a lot of empty tracks, and then at the end you have that, hidden track.
Do you want me to explain that on your show?
Sure.
Are we on now so people could hear that?
Sure.
There's a reason I did that, and a lot of people in progressive rock and that like progressive rock think that the Beatles were the first progressive band. And they honestly, they were, because I don't think they have two songs the same. They kept striking new ground. They had movements in the music, like A Day in a Life, that went through different time signatures and things. And my pilgrimage to a point started in my dad's garage when I was 12 years old. And I had his tape recorder and his band's drum set and a little guitar and a keyboard. And I tried to figure out how the Beatles got the sounds of their records, because of all the things I was listening to, I had an interest in recording, and their stuff sounded the best. I love Led Zeppelin, Free, and just so many, Moody Blues, I loved all that. But the Beatles had this clarity and this richness at the same time. So I tried to figure out how to do it. So my pilgrimage to a point started trying to copy Beatles songs, just a couple of them, to get the recording sound down. Right. So I thought, with the name of this album, that's kind of where it started for me as a studio guy and all the things I learned. I was only 12, but I need to write something that's more Beatles worthy and put it on the album, but I don't want to mess up the album that has all these progressive tunes on it with a Beatles sounding song.
Right.
So the mastering guy said, you want to hide this track? How would you do that? I said, well, just put a couple of blank numbers on there where if people think it's a mistake, they'll never hear this song. He goes, why would you do that? So I said, trust me, someone's going to hear it and they're going to start talking about it. And people go, Oh, there was another song. And when your track listing came up on a CD player, it would say 13 or something, right? It wouldn't say 9 or
Right.
10. So anyway, that's why I did it. It was the hidden track tribute to my time in college with the Beatles, basically learning from their recordings at George Martin and Abbey Road and all those places. Still to this day, the sound of those recordings and their instruments, you put on a Beach Boys record, you were talking about old 60s stuff, and it sounds dated. They use Fender
Yeah.
amps and, different harmonies and all that stuff, and I love it. You put on a Beatles record and you can hear the last Tom Petty kind of album sound. You can hear drum sounds they're still using today. You hear that really heavy, deep bass. That's all
Right.
stuff that made it the test of time, basically. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I noticed that when I was looking this up, that the one that's on Cyclops, the one you said from England, has a different track.
Different Beatles
Or
track.
maybe, yeah,
Yeah.
it's it's kind of interesting how some in different countries, bands, or maybe it's more the label wants to put on a different, today we call those bonus tracks,
Right. Well, I didn't
and
want to do that. Cyclops called me. They said, "This is a great album. I mean, you're selling it out of it was mail order only, that the one you have, right out of this studio, Soundtech here. We sold 2,000 copies. And I never did anything to sell it, but there were the Asia Armada or something. David Gallant had a Asia magazine.
yeah, I
A couple
remember
other
that.
guys that became friends of mine had another Asia thing, and it spread through their channels. And I sold 2,000 copies. So Cyclops heard of this. The guy called me and goes, "We want to put it out here." I said, "I don't know. It's already ran its course, a couple thousand copies." "Oh, no, we could sell another couple thousand." I said, "Well, let me change one of the progressive songs, and I want to put a different hidden track on there so that it's sort of worthy of being re-released." So, and I
Right.
forget what the song was. I think I don't remember what the other progressive song was. I'd have to look it up.
Right.
It's long.
Yeah. It was
90s.
just, yeah, because going through this thing, I was, first of all, I got to tell you, listening to this in the car, cranked up, it sounds amazing. I think this is like the perfect thing, for driving music.
It's interesting too, because at the time I did that album, I was still 2-inch analog tape, and I didn't have automation on my board. So Peter Roberts, my engineer and partner here at the studio at the time, who now does sound for REO Speedwagon, he's been on tour with them for years. We came up with a thing which there was a keyboard mixer that Keith Emerson used called the DMP7. He had the rack mount version. It was a digital mixer, but you plugged in analog to it and it came out digital. And there were 8 channels each. So we got 3 of those. They're only 12-bit though. They weren't even 16-bit. And now, of course, we're 2497. I mean, the sample rates, everything are so high, but it was 12-bit. And that album was mixed through those DMP7s, which had motorized faders and everything. So I could get a good mix-wise on it, but the tone quality shouldn't have been so good. But when George Horn at Fantasy Records does my mastering, when he mastered, I came back and went, "How did you do that? It sounds like the highest quality, like it's right off the 2-inch tape." And he did a fantastic. So that was not mixed through the highest quality mixers. I've tried to remix it on a couple times. I can't get it to sound that good.
Right.
You know,
Well, one thing I when I'm listening to it, when compared to listening to other albums from that time,
yeah.
some of the albums of that time sound very dated. I noticed that some 90s albums sound very dated, and this one really didn't.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, well,
At least for my ears, I hear. Granted, at about that time is at the grunge era, so people were seeing how distorted we can make the music
Sure.
sound, and in a way, it kind of takes take something away from the music, or every song is like, has like all these distortion effects, even the vocals have distortion, and it's like, it just sounds like it's just a bunch of noise coming through
You
where,
know what happened with grunge for me? I can accept that because I even like some screamo stuff, when it's
yeah,
done right. But the grunge era didn't really have great choruses to the songs. They didn't have a piece that you could take home, but maybe one little couple words, couldn't really take it home. And at least for me, there was more of a hook and roundabout than there ever was in Pearl Jam or something. Although Nirvana, I thought those songs were fantastic. That guy, he knew how to write songs. And when you stripped him down to Kurt Cobain acoustically, those songs still stood up. So that's
oh yeah, that's one of the things that I noticed, a lot of the 90s stuff. I mean, the other bands in grunge, while I liked them, it just didn't really have that much of timeless
yeah.
feel to it. I think a lot of bands lost that in around the mid 80s, and I think everybody's trying to finally figure it out. Well, maybe instead of trying to sound of the times, sound timeless. So when you put it in your player or listen to it wherever, it's like it could have been recorded today, and
Well, that's
that's
always the problem for bands. There's a style going on right now, and we love this. These bands do a couple cover tunes like whoever, Foo Fighters, whatever. Well, it's already happening. You got to do something different, for better or for worse. A lot of times, I mean, they maybe thought Foo Fighters was too edgy or something first came out. What about Jack White? I mean, the White Stripes. Oh God, that was so raunchy. And he's still doing it. He's done a couple things with Clapton and Beck or something. I mean, those were edgy, but he was reaching out for the next thing. And a lot of people don't do that, and that's why they never make it, let's say, and get into the real world, of the
right.
business.
Oh yeah, that's what the one thing that I don't like about the newer music is that they tend to just be more, they sound like they're a commercial for a TV or a iPhone or a a car or something like that. It's no longer a personal song that they wrote for themselves to record. It's like they're writing it for a product. Even if it's not for a product, for sure, months or a year down the line, so one company is going to say, "Hey, that song that sounds like for us."
They're going to use it, yeah.
I mean,
There are
it's
people. There's things like Fall Out Boy is a band I really like. They got that sound, the big vocals, and the big. But boy, they're really musical. There are a lot of good things, even country and some of the hip hop stuff. Even there's some really good things. It's just that there's so much that's mediocre because everything's accessible now.
right.
That we used to have 100 bands in a year, and 30 of them would have a hit record, but there's only 100 bands altogether. Now there's probably 20,000 bands in a year.
Right.
Nobody has a hit record except for the hip hop people, the younger ones. And even Boston, my friend Gary Peel, Boston put out a new album and nobody even knows it's out.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
It's a shame when that happens. And also too, when I look at albums that that were released years ago, and how I'm from the Los Angeles area, so you have KLOS that plays the same groups of songs.
Right.
They don't deviate from it. They don't play any other song from the band. I mean, you can figure, like, let's say Led Zeppelin, what they're going to play. And that's it. They're not going to play any of the deep cuts. They're not going to play anything else.
And they played a lot of Steve Miller probably too, didn't they?
Oh yeah. We have it here out in Bangor. We have 2 classic rock stations that play the same groups of songs all the time, and it gets to the point where I've been done with radio for almost a decade.
I'm not sure why they do that, because guys like us who love Led Zeppelin, if they play, we're gonna know all the songs. We hear something else, we're gonna go, yeah, that's wow, they're playing that. I mean, we'd be excited, right? We'd want to tune in and say, hey, these guys are taking some chances, but they don't do it. Let me throw this phone out of the way here so we don't have to hear it ringing.
Okay.
You just take me a second. I'm right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Walking in the closet. There we go. Yeah, you know, so I'm in my control room here, and it's the end of the day. I've been working on a couple of sessions all day, and now people want to know when I got done for them. They're going to be
Right.
bugging me. I don't talk to anybody. I'm done. I'm talking to you. We're having a good time. Now,
Right.
I got to say, there is a lot of good music out today. There's a lot of it, but there's just too much other stuff for us to find it all. Like Fall Out Boy is a really good band. They're so musical, and sure, they're a hit band like a lot of the other bands kind of, but they do some stuff that's just tremendous, you know. The progressive bands of the day, there's some new ones that are really good. There's
Oh yeah.
Americana bands. I mean, this Americana music is so great. And some of the country, you know, if you listen to those country guys, I mean, the real country guys, not the ones doing hip hop in the country and rap, but the guys that are telling the story and still trying to write a good song you can follow.
Right.
You know, some of that stuff, genius. You go, God, it's like a movie. I just listen to that song, it's genius, you know. No, it's out there.
Oh yeah. You gotta weed through a lot of the stuff to find it, you know, and it's like, I mean, I get a lot of I've been getting a lot of older stuff, you know, lately to kind of fill in the gaps like I told you the last time, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm getting like so many people telling me, oh, get this, get that, you know, and it's like, you know, I think a wish list, probably thousands of things that I want to get. You know, I doubt I'll get them all. So I gotta kind of go through. And what I usually do is I'm like my girlfriend calls me the bargain hunter. I wait for things to get down to a good price that I can afford, you know, and
She didn't call
And-
you that before you found her, did you? Did she?
no,
That would not be nice.
no. I honestly, I find a lot of good stuff that way, you know.
Yeah.
I do try to buy as much as possible from the band so that they get, you know, the profits, you know, instead
Sure.
of going through a middleman or two, you know. The one place I don't really like getting things from, to be honest, is eBay, because eBay people, I don't know where they're getting the value of some of their stuff,
Right.
overpricing things, and then
Not even sure what you're getting a lot of times. You know?
right, and then I forget which band it was that I saw it on Amazon, a CD that was listed for $900 plus shipping. Plus shipping. It's like, you know, oh, you got the nerve to add shipping to that huge cost. I mean, and it's like I have a right mind to just write this people. I said, are you going to send some royalty fees to that artist? You know,
Yeah, really.
for almost $1,000 for a CD. You know,
Well, you know, we're going to disappear. My son's a musician, you know, 25 years old. I don't know how he's going to make a living with the way streaming has ruined the music world, but we don't want to just be negative about all this. There is a lot of good music. And the good news is that it's accessible really easily. I mean, there's a positive side to it. It's just that every musician I know, Carl Palmer is going to have to get a day job. You know, he's going to have to
Right.
deliver. He's going to have to deliver for Amazon if he wants to keep doing music. It's because we can't make a living. You know, I mean, those of us that are established a little bit, we can make a living because we go out and tour. People, there's enough people to buy the albums. But like my son, you know, he goes, hey, we got 100,000 streams on that. Wow, I said $6, great. You know, I mean, it's nothing. It's just really tough. And I'm glad that he has the music bug and he loves it. He'll never do anything else, I don't think. But I'd sure like to see him do what I did and build a house from it, and have a decent car and food on the table where you're not worried all the time.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, once the streaming thing started, it kind of it it was more a shift towards people that if they're making like multi-million dollars, the streaming thing, it really isn't going to affect them that much. It's because
No, it did.
they've already,
It affected everybody. In fact, Peter Frampton, I think, put out that he got 6 million hits on Baby I Love Your Way and got a check for like $6,000 or something, where, before he would make, he put out an album, he'd make $1 million. And
right.
that's when they said the record companies were treating us bad.
Yeah.
Now, the record companies actually own part of the streaming services. There's no manufacturing cost. There's no shipping costs. There's no any cost except for setting up that infrastructure and that website and how that all works. Once that's paid for, it's 100% profit,
Right.
and they don't pay the artist anything.
Right. Yeah. I keep on saying I'm always going to be a physical media person.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that, like, especially when bands put out box sets, or when they put out their releases, they put it in an elaborate packaging,
Yeah.
and I'm really glad that like with these two Jethro Tull, I mean they have other ones, but they're putting them out in this kind of a format where they have the studio, and then they got the remix, and then they have live albums, and then they have the 5.1 mix of the album on top of it. So it's like they got like each of those got, I think, like 5 or 6 CD discs in it. And so it's like the packaging right there. Granted, it's not geared for the younger generation, it's geared for our generation. And maybe a few younger, I have a friend that's in his early 30s, and he's physical media.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised when he said that, because I was expecting him to say, oh, I downloaded this, all these albums this week. And it's like, he goes out to, this pre-pandemic, he goes out to record stores, thrift shops, all these places, and finds, and I envied him on some of the finds that he got at thrift shops.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just amazing what he found there.
Here's the thing.
Not just music, but movies.
You knew right where that box set was. You have an emotional attachment to that booklet, holding that CD, you listen to it, you love the music, but you look at it. It's a thing. It's like a newspaper, reading a newspaper. It's not the same reading on a Kindle or an iPad, a newspaper,
Right.
There's something about, you turn the page, you fold it on a book, there's an emotional attachment, and there's an ownership involved in it that you don't have with streaming. There's no ownership, and that's a detachment with the way human beings work as social beings. And we're
Right.
getting away from that social being thing a lot, especially after COVID, having to work at home on the computer,
Oh, I know.
Um,
I mean, I've seen a lot of bands that they've completely shut down on whatever they're doing. Then I've seen other bands, like someone I'm going to be talking with in a few weeks. They've already put out one album this year, and they got plans for the second part. So they're doing a very big production, during this this pandemic. Looks like we lost you. It looks like we lost him. Hopefully he'll get back. Well, I'll just talk a little bit until I get him back on. Gotta love technology. There he is. Got no audio yet.
Yeah, I could see myself moving, but I couldn't. You were frozen there, like you know. So I got
Yeah, you
off
were
and back on, hoping.
Yeah, that's all right. You know, that I said, you know, while you were off, I said, you know, that's technology for you.
Yeah,
It works.
well, I'm in.
It works.
You know where I'm at. I'm in Silicon Valley. I think I told you last time.
Yeah.
1 mile that way, which is south, is Netflix, where it started. 1 mile that way, which is northeast, is eBay, where it started. 2 miles north is that big Apple spaceship, the round thing they built.
Right.
The funny thing is, it's a huge complex. It's all glass on the outside. When they first moved in, people were breaking their noses. They had to put little dots on the glass because they kept running into it. So,
Oh my God.
and it's huge. It's like the Enterprise. It is huge.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So, where were we at?
Just
Well,
you
no,
know what's happening with accessibility and you know people feeling the album, the collections of things, human nature. There's ownership or there's commitment or there's closeness in it, and
Right.
that's why your friend who's 30, once he got that feeling, he goes, oh, and he keeps
yeah.
going. The kids
Exactly.
that never know, they don't know.
Yeah. You know, it's. I forget who I was talking to about that. He was mentioned that he teaches music, and he was saying when he told them about CDs, one of his students goes, "What's a CD?" And they're
Already, yeah.
and he had to explain, and then he goes, "Yeah, we put this on here and we sold it. You sold it? We can go over to Spotify and you can listen to it for free." And he had to explain to them, it's like, we as the musicians don't get free instruments. We don't get free studio time.
Yeah.
You know,
do.
you do. But you know, someone off the street, if they wanted to record an album, it's going to cost them some money. It's not going to be all of a sudden, you know, bam, it's there. You know, it's like, so it's like the younger generation, I think, needs to be educated with it. And if they still do streaming, at least they understand that musicians need to get paid, you know.
If they keep doing streaming, they're really going to be getting into the older music because there will be no new music that's any good. Because the people that are good, the people I got to work with, that's what they do for a living. That's
Exactly.
all they do. And it raises you to a level way beyond like a guy that plays for a dance band in a club or something. They might be a great band, but they're not doing original stuff. They're not expressing the worldview, the tide of the nation, whatever it is that they're talking. They're not expressing that, and that's going to go away. The Peter Gabriels of the world. How can he not have a day job if streaming was around when he first? Right? I mean, he'd have to work driving, like I say, an Amazon truck, and then after work he could do his music.
Exactly.
So it's going to change things a lot if they don't figure it out. I know there was something that happened with the last year, a couple of years ago, where they tried to do something about payments and stuff. Federal government talked a little bit about it. ASCAP, BMI have been working toward doing more. It's not like somebody's not getting rich off our music. The streaming companies are getting very rich, and their stockholders are. You know?
Right. Yeah, and I just don't get, you know, like I was a few months, maybe about 6 months ago, I got the Spotify, and I was going to go and get the, the premium one until a close friend of mine told me, he said, he educated me as to about how little they give you for each song. So I was like going, well, why am I going to pay this company for something that the artist isn't going to see any of that money that I paid?
Yeah,
So I just assume, that's what I like with Amazon. It's like a majority of the time when you buy a CD, you get that little MP3. So
Yeah.
I like that, so it's not, I have, my music that I already bought, but it's also available on portable devices, which, which is makes it easier, because
Right.
I couldn't see carrying I couldn't see carrying a stack of like 10 CDs in my car and changing them out. So I put it on one of these,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
and granted the
Does your
quality.
car have a thumb drive?
Yeah.
You have a USB in your car? So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
and all the new cars, yeah, the new cars don't have CD players anymore. So
Yeah, mine is still has a CD player in it, but I like this, even though this is not, the quality isn't as good as the CD. It's
right.
when you're in the car, you have so much distracting noises, obviously the
Sure.
traffic, and if you have your windows down, you have the outside noise. If you have them up, you got your AC blowing. So it's like you're not getting the same clarity that you get when you're in your
Right.
listening to it in a home. So
Right. Yeah.
so it's like that's okay. But it's like, to me, it's like I own it on CD. They just gave me a way to listen to it portably. And
Yeah. No, it's great.
and
Yeah.
that's where how they should be marketing stuff like that. It's like buy the latest Robert Berry CD, and then you get a digital copy with it, so that you don't have to go through the thing of putting it in your ripping it to your computer, and it's
Right.
readily available.
Frontiers, my record label, does 2 or 3 months of pre-orders, and they'll put out I did 3, actually I did 4 videos this time. The first one being Fond Farewell, the great one they did with the Last Man on Earth thing. It was really good. But they do all the promotion, all the pre-orders before anybody has an album. They sell as many as they can sell, and it's sold out on Amazon twice, both the last 2 albums. And then once it's out, they barely think about it again because everybody's getting it for free. They can't make any money. So it's holding that back for that pre-order where people have to order a CD, people like you that want to support the artist. And it's kind of sad because I'm always upset at the point the album's released. This one was March 12th, I think. I hire my own PR guy, and I do that, and I do a couple more videos because I'm not going to let it ramp up and sell as many copies until release day, and all reviews and everything come out. And I'm really lucky; they were really good. But I don't want to stop there. When it's up there and it's out, and people actually have, like, you have a copy, I want to talk to more people about it. So, what do you think? Oh, what whatever it is, I want to keep it going. But they're done at that point. They're completely finished, and they still sell CDs because people will see a review or they'll hear it somewhere and they'll want to own it, but
Exactly.
not close to the number they sell on the way up to release day.
Right.
And it's just the way of the world now.
Well, I notice a lot of the bands that are on Frontiers, besides yourself, a lot of them have they're not like the modern, heavy metal stuff. It sounds like the stuff that we grew up on, or I should say I grew up on in the 80s and early 90s, where
I call the music they release the most is fake Journey and Fate Whitesnake. Journey and Whitesnake, you get in that realm, high vocals, the big metal guitar kind of, but pop kind of songs.
Right.
They put out 10 of those every month.
Yeah, and it's like,
but Whitesnake, well, it was on their label. is really good. They're not the
Right.
fake White Snake, though. It's still David
Right.
Coverdale, you know? But the rest of them are just fake Journey and White Snake. I go, whatever. I guess they sell them. They put out a bunch.
Oh yeah. Well, one of my a friend of mine's, she got signed to Frontiers, Lana Lane,
Mhm.
and so she has it. I guess they're working on an album, so probably in the fall or something like that. So it's like I told her, I said, well, you got a really cool label mate, you know, Robert Barry, and she goes, oh, okay. She says, it's from 3, and I said, yeah, from 3. A lot of
You
people.
said Lana, did
Lana
you say
Lane.
Lana? Yeah, well, that's
Lane.
Eric Norlander's wife.
Yeah,
So
I know.
I know
I've known
Eric
them since.
really well.
Oh yeah,
He's a fantastic musician, and they do great work together. Really great.
oh yeah, yeah. He has capability of playing the electronic keyboard based music, like Emerson.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, the story is the rig that he has was part of Emerson's old rig from the 90s.
He has some Moog stuff
Yeah.
that came from, yeah. He's got everything. That
Yeah,
guy, he's got every keyboard. Then he does a lot of work for IK Multimedia, where he samples things and does sound design. And he's a really smart guy, but a great musician too. Really, really something. We almost did a project together. We talked about it. We had thrown some ideas back and forth. And I just got so busy with my 3.2 thing and other things going on that didn't happen yet. But someday I bet we do something together.
Oh yeah, you know, he's up your way now, I believe.
Yeah, well, he's in El Dorado Hills, which is past Sacramento. I'm about 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Sacramento.
Oh,
Not that far. Yeah, no, he's got a nice place up there and some land and stuff, you know, and plenty of room to make that Moog shake the trees.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've
Well,
been
really
friends with him since 2000. I saw his band Rocket Scientists at a theater in Thousand Oaks, and he came down. He and Lana came down to when I was living in Santa Monica. We ate over at Denny's on I think it was Lincoln Boulevard or Lincoln something like you know, right there, and it was really cool. I mean, nicest people you can ever want to meet, you know, and
well, she has a shop too. I'm trying to remember now. I said, show me pictures of it. I forget what she has. Is it
a lot of
trinkets?
gourmet foods.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's some gourmet food.
I must be allergic to it. Hey, you better put your mask on. I'm sneezing. Oh yeah, it's something, and she's doing well with it. Good for her, you know, her own business stuff, and he's doing great. Yeah, that the Rocket Scientists did their last show. We headlined Progstock 2019, and they did their last show. They were good, and it happens that Eric's drummer was a guy that used to record here at Soundtech, friend of mine, and it was like, I haven't seen him forever. Here he's on the stage. I go, I know that guy, and he's a great drummer. But anyway, getting on from that, I appreciate that you've been a supporter of my music and have said some very nice things, even though your reputation precedes you and you're not supposed to be very nice. You're kind of cranky from what I hear.
Oh, you know, I'm probably you know, a lot of people say that I'm one of those people that kind of stays back and listens to things, you know, and rarely do I comment on things on various subjects. It just, but when it comes, honestly, when it comes to music, in this past 6 years, especially, it's hit me closer than ever before. You know, it's been kind of how you say, my saving grace in a way. So And
You know, before 2020, a lot of people might not have understood that.
right.
But now everybody that missed concerts and everything and saw these bands streaming and stuff, it hit home for everybody. You know,
Oh
that even
yeah.
wasn't such a big music fan, they realized, oh, I'm kind of a big music fan. It's a big part of my life. One of the good things that came out of the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? I mean, people such as yourself released an album during the pandemic, you know, others didn't, you know, and then there's people that are, you know, putting out, uh, there's this one band that's putting out so far has put out two 4-song EPs, and they have a
Yeah.
third one coming out, and they're thinking it's like they're just stretching out their probably a 9 or 12 song album, but they're stretching it out. They figure it's like at least giving something to look forward to, you know, in a few months, you know, for the audience until they can get, you know, safely get on the road and play live in
Yeah.
places. Um, I know there's quite a few places that are opening up. In my
Oh,
own
yeah.
opinion, they're opening up way too soon. But
Well, the bigger places are having a problem. You know, I think the smaller places, I think there's 250 people that are wise enough to go to a 350 seat club, let's say, and feel safe. But I don't think there's 10,000 people to go to an arena or a big place
right,
and feel safe. I just think there's a little stigma against it still. That's why they're, you know, Motley Crue had this big tour, they canceled it. They just, you know, you got to remember, you got to pay the ticket takers, the hot dog guy, the ushers, the parking. You got to pay everybody. It's expensive
okay,
to put on a big show in an arena, and there's just not enough people, and they have to sell them out. So I think this year, I don't think we're going to see a lot of big shows. I mean, I just don't think people are comfortable enough, even if it's safe. You know, I'm a guy that doesn't worry about the virus. I mask inside. I never mask outside. Because I believe since we're born, we get a little something we're exposed to that our body develops antibodies to. So, you know, I just went with that kind of, but I was very safe. I've also been a singer all my life, and I can show you a coat from Madison Square Gardens in 1988 that has a bottle of Purell in it. I mean,
right,
I've always been safe, you know. I can't afford to let somebody sneeze or cough around me without freaking out a little bit, going, hey, I got to sing this weekend, or, you know, tomorrow night, I can't get sick. So it's a little bit
okay,
different for me, but everybody's going to have to act more like me now, right? You all have to act like
exactly,
a singer, you know, but
exactly.
again, to really get herd immunity, we got to be exposed to little things. And if we keep wearing the mask and we keep out of sight, that's not going to be good for society either. So there's got to be something. But big concerts, I don't think people are ready to be exposed that much yet. No way.
No, you know, I know what Ross Fest and then that Cruise City Edge is next year.
Yeah,
So at least that's giving enough, you know, close to a year now for things to get back to a place, not so much where we were, but somewhere better, you know, something better where we're a little more, how do you say, conscientious of people, you know, you sneeze, you know, you put it there, you don't put it in your hand because you're going to
right.
later
Yeah,
on shake someone's hand, you know,
yeah.
and, you know, I think it goes down to what I believe you and I grew up with is manners. And I think over the generations, it's been lost.
I totally agree. I have some songs on Third Impression, sort of about that very thing. You know, Fond Farewell, which is the first single, is about that. I'll put it this way, and I don't think I said this to you before, so I won't use the F word, but I'll say F word. When I was young and you were young, you wouldn't probably say shit to your parents, or you wouldn't say, well, hell, damn, right? I would never say any of that. Now, my son says the F word like it's hello, right? Because that's his generation. Now, Sammy
Right.
Hagar used the F word. I mean, when I played with him in the 90s, like I just wasn't comfortable saying F, 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 and he used all the time. So I got a little bit tuned into it, let's say. Now my
Right.
kids, my son used it all the time. It's acceptable. Unfortunately, it's like a school shooting. We hear about it on Friday. By Monday, we're thinking about something else.
Right.
It's
Right.
the lack of respect and kindness and caring and that thing we are raised with, you're talking about. That's what fond farewell. If we don't identify that we need to be kinder and have respect, it's going to be like the F word. It's
Yeah.
just going to be the way, it's going to be the way of the world. And that's not a good thing. That's not going to be nice at all. I mean, it's to be a crabby society, you know?
Right. I mean, hey, we're not telling you to be Pollyannas out there, but you be have the manners. You can say the same thing that without using the F word. You can say things and probably blow the other person's mind that you're actually being articulate to them.
Right,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
but because all they're used to is F this, F that. It's like but
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the F word when you save it for when you really need it. But when it's
yeah,
just like hello, and that's
yeah,
like when respect is like no respect is the norm. And you have to think, well, maybe I should respect this person because there's something in it for me or whatever it gets to be. That's bad. That's not going to be good for us, Well,
right,
our parents' generation, the greatest generation, I guess, right? Happy, they worked hard, they did well, they grew their families, they tried to raise respectful kids, and then we come along and my son's using the F word. I'm gonna get the rubber hammer and start smacking him with it. Oh boy.
yeah. But there was two things I wanted to talk to you about or ask you is well, those Magna Carta cover tunes that you did. I've been trying to track down a few of them, and then I found something called Prime Cuts where they put all of them pretty much together,
Yes.
plus an unreleased one, that Ambrosia song, Life Beyond LA.
Yes. Yeah.
I heard when I went to hear.
I was honored, by the way, honored that they asked if they could put that out because every time they did a tribute album, they called me first and I didn't want to do it because I don't like tribute albums. I mean, usually it's bands just regurgitating the same thing as that the band did. I go, Mike, why would I want to hear Genesis played by these guys, exact same notes, when I can hear Genesis? And it's amazing, right? So they'd ask me, saying, I don't want to do it. And they say, well, you've done a lot for our label. Really, we need you to do it because you got to work with Steve Howe and you work with Keith and Carl. And, you really should. Okay. So I say, if I could do it my way. So I do it my way. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you can see up here. There's a letter over here from Ian Anderson saying how much he liked Minstrel in the Gallery. There's one over here where Steve Howe said how much he liked the new bass line to Roundabout. It kicked the original over. He liked the new bass line. My God, the Roundabout that was the bass line, right? And so they asked me to if they could put it together. I was really honored. I mean, all my best work kind of went, yeah, okay, thank you, So you got one, and I don't know how many they sold, but because they never paid me anything for that. They just put all the stuff they already paid me for together and never paid me a dime. Typical record company. Anyway, I'm sorry to stop your flow there, but
No,
that was
no,
great.
I was just of those, which was your favorite that you worked on that when you were like excited when you say, did you pick the songs or did they pick them for you?
I picked the songs, but they didn't want to give them to me. Like Roundabout. Oh, somebody already has Roundabout. I said, then I'm not doing it. Well, we need you to just pick another one. I said, no, I will only do the songs that I played in my first professional band, which became original band Hush. Right. And then we started Progressive Band as a progressive cover band, then turned into original progressive band. I'm only going to play those because I know what I would do if I was in the band. If I was in Yes, I know what I would do now in the 90s to Roundabout. And of course, I always put in simple terms, it's put the Led Zeppelin in. I mean, that's
Right.
in a theory, a strong beat and a tougher sound, right? That's usually what
Right.
I do. And I changed the grooves, and then the Roundabout was halftime when I did it. So they usually had something else they wanted me to do. Like with Roundabout, they said somebody else going to do it. I said, well, you know what? I could call Steve Howe and get him to play the end of it with me if you let me do it. They said, okay, right?
There
Good.
you
And Steve
go.
plays the dun 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 at the very end. And with the Genesis, Watchers of the Sky wasn't even one of them that they were going to do. And I said, I have to do that song. That's one of the greatest Genesis songs ever. Minstrel in the Gallery, Hush played, and so I did pick the songs I wanted to do because they needed to mean something to me.
Right.
And I'm every one of those I'm so proud of. Carnival 9, you would think that, well, why would you want to do that? And Welcome Back, My Friends. Everybody knows that song. That's no big deal. But I had a vision, because I work with Keith and Carl, of making it really tough. And when
Right.
they told me Jordan Rudess wanted to do the keyboards, I was like, okay, I got to really get some kind of arrangement. And Simon Phillips on the drums, like, oh my God. I laid out how I wanted to go, and I did a really dorky drum part because I changed the feel, like doom, da, doom, whatever it was, super simple. I played it, and I called Simon. I said, Simon, don't pay any attention to my drumming. I mean, I would never tell you what to play, but this is the feel of the groove, because I'm changing the groove. And I did what I actually would do as a final bass guitar with my junky drums, right? And I just played the bass. I did all the tough stuff, the Zeppelin stuff I kind of wanted to put into that song. And I sent it to him thinking I'd have to redo the bass when I got it back, his drums, because he did it at his home studio.
Right.
That guy locked to my bass so well. I redid one note in all of Carnival 9, and that's a very hard song. He was amazing, So that's one of my favorites. I actually like them all because I think I achieved something with them that didn't offend guys like you that liked the original. You
Right.
thought, wow, the good
Well-
parts are still there, but oh, look where that went.
Well, I for the longest time, my view on cover songs is this. I like it if someone takes the song, breaks it apart, and puts it back together as, like you just said, how you would have done it.
Yeah.
And because I don't want to hear an exact replica.
Right.
There's no point. It's just also the same as when it comes to bands playing live. I don't want to hear the exact thing that's on your album live.
Right.
To me, there's no point in me going to see you live if that's all you're going to do. I want you to kind of, if there's like a 4-minute song and you just feel like it needs something else in there, and you expand it maybe a couple more minutes, or you start it differently. Or my thing is this is, I know once you put your stuff onto CD or album, it's there forever. So you may have, maybe after you've done it, maybe there's some song that you go, well, I really wish I would have put something else in there, but it's already printed. So that's a studio album. Now live, I can expand on those ideas that I had, afterthoughts, going,
Right.
oh my God, that would have been cool if I'd done an extra keyboard line in it, or an extra guitar line, or maybe just go, have like a little a cappella section, or whatever the case would be. It's like live is for the artist to expand on what they've already created.
Yeah.
And that's the same with cover songs. It's like, expand on it, think, what would you have done if this song in its infancy was given to you to create, to add to it, and like you said, beef it up. It's like, another one that did one of more unique cover songs was Kevin Gilbert when he did Kashmir. I'm not sure if you heard that one.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like it when people change them a whole lot. I
Right,
think that I strike a happy medium between what it was and totally making it my own and
right.
using those parts of what it was in that new my own kind of way. There's a happy medium there. I know that when Trent Gardner did, I forget what the first was, it Barbarian is whatever was first on the ELP tribute album. Keith heard it and he threw the CD away. He hated it because Trent Gardner totally changed it, turned it inside out. Keith hated that, right? He
Right.
threw the CD. I'm not gonna listen to this crap, But I don't remember Kevin's now. I know at the time I heard it, but I'm not sure if it was really. I don't remember if it was really different or not. I just don't remember.
It just started off with a little more. I didn't see him live, but they had the drummer. He was. It's a percussion instrument, the square thing. You can sit on it and you can just almost
Yeah,
like
Cajon.
okay.
Cajon, yeah.
He was doing that at the beginning, and all of a sudden it went into it. It's went into a different sound, but you knew it was Kashmir, but it just he made it his own, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things I like about that. But I know there's purists out there that go, how dare you, how dare you
Well,
change?
yeah. A lot of people don't want to hear that, especially if they go see like Led Zeppelin or they see Boston or whoever. They want to hear what they're comfortable with. The bad news is that the tribute bands to Boston and Foreigner and all that play the songs just like the record get huge crowds and people love them and it's a
Yeah,
tribute band. It's not even the real band, and they're getting paid big money. That's drives me nuts that a crowd of 5,000 people will be cheering and throwing their underwear on the stage to a Journey tribute band because
right,
they're playing Journey songs. I mean, they're good. I don't hold against the band. It's the audience that I can't understand why they made such a big deal out of a tribute band.
right.
Crazy. Anyway, we're getting off on a weird subject here, and it's all personal taste with music, and that's the beauty of it. People like what they
Yeah.
like, and whatever it is, it's all good, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was the one thing I wanted. When you did, what was it? The Watcher of the Sky. When you did it with, that's the one you did with Hush. Or
Yes,
was-
well, kind of,
or-
yeah. Yeah, I
It was-
brought in the guys. I did the intro, the whole first part myself, and then again, almost like there was Simon Phillips, I did the bass and the guitar parts, the tougher sections, and I brought in the old drummer from Hush, Roger Bonacera. He did the drums, fantastic job. Then I brought in Paul Keller to do the solo guitar stuff. So I still built it on this foundation that was the way I do things, the way I see it, to make them tougher,
Right.
And we played that on the tour with the 3.2 band too. It was amazing. I had so much fun doing that.
Oh yeah, I've been, like I was telling you earlier, I've been watching a lot of the videos and whoever captured the 2019 tour, getting all the different songs, and going back to the 3 album, and then everything, everything in between, and the one thing is that I was like going, okay, and I mean, I love it that nowadays the camcorders or people using their phones, how clear some of the sounds come from it.
I was surprised myself. I know.
I mean,
I brought my own sound man and my own mixer. I brought my own sound man and my own mixer for that, a Midas board that I bought specific for that, so we could at least control the sound. But you never know about a room and the speakers I didn't bring. You never know how they're going to sound. And usually those sounded pretty good.
Yeah. And it's just the way, because it was from the audience standpoint, it kind of gives you a sense that you're there, kind of watching along with the audience, and it's kind of cool, just to be able to see, like I keep on telling people, it's like no one comes to Maine. No one. I mean, it's the classic rock revival bands, country bands, and rap bands, but no one. It's almost like they're in the safe zone. They don't want to bring in anything
Yeah.
different or new, and it's like, I mean, granted, some of the classic rock bands that they bring in, that I never saw the first time around, that's kind of cool to be able to see them. Years ago, down
Yeah.
when I was in Southern California, a friend of mine took me to go see Boston at the Irvine Meadows, and I think it was 4 or 5 guitar players up there, and that thing was like a wall of sound.
Yeah.
I'm like going, wow. I mean, to see them, and I saw, I believe, Foreigner open for them. So it was just, my friend was very, he didn't like going to concerts by himself. And so he always bought 2 tickets, and he always called me and said, hey, you want to go see? And I go, sure.
Wow.
I said, okay, I'll pay for the parking. You got the tickets, I'll pay for the parking.
That's great.
And he would go, I think the merch people loved him because he would go and buy 2 of the same t-shirts. One he would wear, and the other he'd fold up and put it in the closet. And I'm like going, why do you do that? He says, oh, one day it's going to be worth something. And I go, okay. He did the same with CDs. He would buy a box set, and he would buy 2 of them. Keep one sealed, the other was just plain, and I'm like going, I don't know where he got this money from, but I think it's, I think it was just because it was frugal. I mean, he wouldn't buy anything else. Just music was his, for him. It was like amazing. And it's like, so to go into different kinds of concerts, anywhere from rock concerts to metal concerts, whatever
Yeah.
it was like, it was just a great experience to have someone to go to a concert with. And
Well, he was wise about the merch and stuff. Those things are worth money now,
oh yeah, and
especially
he kept,
untouched.
yeah, the untouched ones.
Yeah.
I lost touch with him over probably a decade ago, and I'm just always curious if he still has this stuff, and maybe he sold it up on eBay for
Well,
the big bucks, and probably is living in a mansion somewhere.
yeah. Well, it was pretty wise with that stuff aside like that. Really, it'd be worth. I mean, it's like baseball trading cards, right? Some of
Yeah.
them you just can't get anymore, and you have to pay big money for them. Interesting.
Oh yeah. I had one thing I wanted to ask. When you came back with 3.2,
Yeah.
did you contact Carl to do something, or did you want to just do it separate?
You cut out for a second. Did I
Oh,
do
okay.
what?
Did you when you came back with the 3.2,
Right.
did you contact Carl to do anything,
Well,
or was he busy?
interesting enough, I did talk to Carl, but Keith didn't want to use it. But I asked Carl if he'd be interested, and he said, well, I'll do 3 songs, and you named this huge sum of money. I said, okay, I'll ask Frontiers, and I called them, they laughed. They said, he's not, we're not going to pay for 3 songs. Even if he did the whole album, we wouldn't pay him that kind of money. But then
Right.
again, Keith didn't want to use him. Keith wanted to use Simon Phillips, and not because the last name started with a P.
Right.
Right. So our plan on the rules of change was to do what we had learned over the 27 years since the first album. What do we do wrong? What do we do right? We'll start with that. Now, what do we want to do next? And, it wasn't really far off from the first album. It's just the the plan and the material was perfectly suited. You know, when we wrote, we knew what we should do. I knew at that time, I didn't know when we did the first album, how to maximize Keith Emerson. I mean, he was just the greatest in the world, but I
Right.
played keyboard, so I could challenge him a little bit. You know, if he didn't do something I thought was like Emerson enough, I said, well, that doesn't sound like the Keith Emerson I know. You know, and he's competitive that way. So, and I could play something and piss him off, right? So I would up his game kind of. And we did all that. Now, after he was gone, in the middle of the album, of course, we lost him.
Right.
I didn't want to do Third Impression, the new one we're talking about. The record company called Frontiers and said, and this is really interesting, he said, we have Journey, we have Whitesnake, we have Foreigner, we have, yes, Asia. We have everybody on a label. We can't tell you what they sell, but the rules that changed did really well. You need to do a follow-up. And that was like a badge of honor for me, because my whole thing was to do this 3 album and show people we knew we should be doing. This was a good band, you know. But I didn't want to do a follow-up. Keith was gone. I couldn't do it. And when they said that, I talked to Aaron Emerson and he goes, yeah, you got that one more song. And I sent it to him. He goes, you did a great job. Really, you should do the album, do it. So I called Frontiers and I said, if I could write 7 or 8 songs that I think Keith would have wanted to work on and that I think I feel good about, then I'll finish up that one last song I have of Keith's. And part of my deal was it had to be a 3 album. And Carl didn't want to do it. And
Right.
I'm capable, as I showed on the Rules of Change, of filling all the pieces by myself. So
Right.
where I could have called Jeff Downs and said, Jeff, will you do this with me? And it would have sounded like Jeff Downs or even
Right.
Jordan Rudess. It would have been much fancier than Keith. With Jordan plays all over the place. He's great, you know. It wouldn't have been the Keith stuff. And the drumming, which I had done on the Rules that Changed, I knew how I wanted to move it forward with this more rhythm worthy that Keith and I had talked about, the stronger beat, the pulse that Simon Phillips would have added. But at the point that Keith was gone, I didn't want to go that way. So
Right.
the deal was that I would do the album because I'm the last one left that really cared and knew what the sound and the style was. And honestly, because I'm capable of doing it, not because I'm bragging, oh, I'm the greatest, I got to do this myself, but I'm capable,
Right.
you know.
Right.
It's what I do for a living here at the studio every day. People come in one at a time, no matter what style of music they want to do. We talk about it, and that's what I do for them. Whatever instruments they don't play, I play.
Well, like I told you before,
Yeah.
the last time is when I listened to Third Impression, I feel Keith's presence there. I feel it there, almost like maybe he was like, you know, saying, I mean, I don't want to put words into it, but like,
No,
he was giving you the thumbs up.
because he was there on the Rules that Changed. I mean, he wrote most of his parts, and then when he was gone, I had to finish it up. So I had to sort of weave the last little part. Here's the funny thing, Ron. You know the song I'm talking about from the first 3 album.
Yeah.
It was a top 10 hit. It was Emerson to the max, that big bah, 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 that fanfare thing.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote that before I joined Steve Howe and GTR. There's a version of that with Steve Howe playing the down, down, down on guitar.
Right.
It had nothing to do with Keith. I didn't know I'd wind up playing with Keith Emerson at that point. But I was such an Emerson fan and the Moog and all this stuff. I wrote that as a keyboard player, and it was perfect for Keith. So I already had that embedded in me. Now playing with Keith, you know, writing and recording in 1987 and 88, every day is like a piano lesson.
Right.
Like, I could never do that, but oh, that's what he's doing. Oh my God. Oh, geez, look at it. You know, I was capable. I had 10 years of piano lessons. And so it was a pleasure to watch him play and look over his shoulder. And then, of course, I'm the only guy who ever played keyboards on stage with him. Even on 3 tour, I played a little keyboards, which he didn't like. but we had to augment it with a couple things. Right? So
Right.
for me to move into finishing up what he had done already to glue it all together, Rules of Change, was not a stretch for me. I already had Emerson DNA. On the new
Right.
album, I was surprised though that when I set out to fulfill his part of the band, it never was a struggle. I mean, none of it is played like he can play. Nothing is way over the top playing wise in the keyboards,
Right.
but it has the heart and soul of what 3 was. Keith was the sound of that. I was the voice of it. So,
Ex-
you know, I'm more worried about how do I not do that on my next album? You know, 3 is done. 3 albums to the 3 name. 3, even I consider 3.2 part of that. My next album next year, I want 3 to retain that. I don't want to bring it with me. I wanted something different. And
Right.
I'm worried I'm not gonna be able to get that out because it just comes naturally to me. How,
You know,
how do you purge that?
sometimes maybe it's okay to leave it in there. Maybe if it's not right up
An
in front,
influence.
maybe
Yeah.
as part of it, that like you said, it's in your DNA, um,
Part of what I do when I'm writing and playing is I go for it with reckless abandonment. I just go for it. When I'm doing those organ solos that were like Emerson-ish, I'm out there going, what I want to do is, and about 80% of the notes are right. And the ones that are bad, you can never leave in an album. But I followed through with the heart and soul and what I wanted to do. I didn't get guided by anything that would cause writer's block or player's block. I just let it rip. Then I'd fix it and then I'd learn it. That way I had the fire and the idea of my original impression, but I had the perfection of fixing it and learning it and playing it right. And that's just kind of the way I did it. The drums, the guitar solos, everything. Reckless abandonment. If I could play it or not, it went down on the Pro Tools and I scrutinized it, kept what I wanted, fixed the rest, and then learned how to do it. And I think it's just part of what I do. I think you're right. It's gonna be with me in some way.
yeah, well, like with the 3.2 band that you have,
Yeah.
you have the 4 players. Uh, I was going to ask on, I seen a lot of videos on 3, whether it had video or if it was just off of a soundboard.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask a question on those YouTube channels, but then I didn't want to sound dumb, but it's like, who did the guitar parts live?
Oh, how dumb. No, Paul Keller was on the 3 tour and he was
okay.
part of the 3.2 band. So I did the guitar on the album, but
Right.
Paul's been with me since Hush. He was the guitar player of Hush. Paul has a memory like a mouse trap. Once it gets you by the neck, he remembers, and he's a great player at the same time. That's not always a combination with guitar players, but he can play the parts, That's why Keith liked playing with him originally, because Keith could go, I'm going to do, can you do a harmony? And Paul go, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Let's try it. And they'd play it. And Keith would be all smiles because Paul had it, right? So Paul played the tour. Paul played the 3.2 tour. And because he's played every song that I've ever recorded, basically, he's played it live. He's that guy. What's Genesis guy? Daryl somebody?
Daryl Strummer?
Yeah, you know who I mean, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't on the albums, I don't think, at first, but he plays all the stuff,
Right. Yeah. Okay, speaking of Hush, since I only had that one CD, I think it was compilation or something like that I got off of eBay that I think I showed it to you.
I'm not sure what it'd be under H1. You better have it alphabetical or you're in trouble right now.
Oh,
time's ticking. It's almost 6 o'clock. You only have a couple minutes here to go, so you better find it. Oh, that's Hush 79. That was an album. The record company went bankrupt when we did that. We delivered it and they held on to it. And it was years later that I remixed it, and Escape Music Alliance's record label put that out. But that was Hush 1979, our second album that never got released.
Yeah,
That,
because
we made a change though. We made a change from being a progressive band to be a little bit more straight rock.
right, and I noticed the one song there, the last one, "A Room," where it
Yeah.
tracks. It tracks like 16 minutes.
Yeah.
I think, but it sounded like they were separate songs, but they just put them all in one track. That,
I'm not sure. I think what that is we had a demo of a song that Paul Keller wrote, and we had a demo of a song that Roger Bonacera. I think "The Way You Love Me" and "If You Run From Love." I think there were some songs that other guys had written that didn't make it on albums and weren't supposed to be on that album. So I just put them on there.
oh, okay.
And I let it run. The mastering guy's like, "What is it?" People will talk about it. Someone eventually is going to ask me, and there it is. It
There
took
it
a
is.
lot of years, but there's the question.
So besides Paul, who else in the said the drummer? Who the
3.2.
no for Hush.
Oh, Hush. Roger Bonacera was the greatest drummer for Hush. He was fantastic. He went into Christian music and was actually music minister after that, and still came and recorded with me a couple albums of his own material where he was playing drums, but a lot of acoustic guitar. He had a great voice too, really good voice. Still around. He's in Oregon now. He moved up there to live with the trees.
Now, would you ever revive the band Hush, or is that in the history?
You know, we did a reunion 10 years ago, just one gig here in town. I have so much going on that I couldn't revive it in a way to do another album and to do a tour or something. And with Jimmy Keegan from Spock's Beard and the 3.2 band, and Andrew Collier from Circuline. It's such a great band, and these guys they're pros. They're playing all the time. That's the kind of guys I need to play with now. And the guys with Hush, say for Paul Keller, they've sort of let it go. They still do music, but they don't do it on the level that has to be done now. It's not easy to play my 3.2 set, my 30-year history of progressive rock. It's a really hard show to play.
Right.
Really tough.
Right.
So you got to be at top of your game. It takes a drummer like Jimmy Keegan who can also sing the high vocals, the super high vocals.
Yeah, I remember him when he was in Spock's Beard for in the recent. I'm not sure if he's on. I'm not sure what the band's doing now. With the pandemic. I mean, it's so hard to keep up with all these bands that the pandemic has basically just kind of put everybody in different areas. I mean, but then like I said, with you putting something out and all these other bands, the one band that I was talking about is they're from Nashville, of all places, for progressive rock. These guys, Everchet.
Oh, I don't know if I know that band. Oh, cool.
The vocalist, he sounds like he could be. He has that. I want to say that 70s rock vocal sound.
Yeah.
But with a progressive rock band, and it's like.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, when they get put off on rock vocals and progressive rock, but it's progressive rock. Still rock music. It's just a more progressive version of rock music. So it's like,
I think part of the problem with progressive rock is there's not a lot of good singers in it. You don't find a lot of Lou Grahams in progressive rock. Usually the vocalists, they're just another piece of the music. It's not like there's no, I mean, John Anderson, outstanding, right? I mean, just what a voice. Peter Gabriel, but there's not that many that are really outstanding. It's more a piece of the whole machine, which is good enough. But
right. Oh yeah, that. But it's refreshing for me when I hear an actual rock, a strong, stronger vocalist. I mean, nothing like I don't want like a full-on, classic era Robert Plant, type of vocals, but I want something that's kind of strong where, there, it helps drive the song. I mean, you got
Right.
the instruments driving it, but you need someone in the driver's seat, so to speak,
Sure.
just to make sure. So it's like it's always a pleasure when I hear bands that they're not trying, and especially when they're not trying to sound like John Anderson or Peter Gabriel. It seems like in the 90s that was a big thing. You heard a majority of the bands are putting out, new bands are putting out CDs in the 90s. The guys were trying to sound like at least those two guys, and maybe an occasional Ian Anderson.
Yeah, right.
But it was so, no one was trying to have their own voice. And that's the one thing I got after a few years, I got tired. It's like, okay, well, this band sounds like that other band I just bought. And now a new band's coming out that sounds exactly like, oh, it's like, I want to see something, or I should say, I want to hear something that is original sounding. Take a chance,
Sure.
you gotta, if you have a good voice, use it, and if it happens to sound like have those nuances of John Anderson or Peter Gabriel, or you go in the rock camp, Robert Plant or Lou Grant, if it happens to have those nuances, then so be it, but if you as long as you're not setting out to copy the.
Well, that's hard for a lot of musicians. It takes a while. First of all, I'm not very proud of the early Hush stuff. I hate my voice. I hate my lyrics. I hate everything about it, but it was a good band. Luckily, it was a good band and we got some good stuff. But it took me a while to write for my voice. I don't sound like me in a Hush album, and it takes a while for a songwriter to really figure out how their voice works the best, what they do. Now, I hate to say that we're getting past 6 here, and I'm gonna have to go pretty soon because I have another appointment. And but it does take some time, and it's a really important thing for a songwriter to find who they are and what they do best and express all kinds of stuff that is them. And that's what you're talking about. And that's why they don't get there, a lot of them.
Right.
And it just is part of the music. It's just part of it. It's not the outstanding part, like Emerson was an outstanding keyboard player, but you can't say that a lot of the 80s rock had outstanding keyboard players, but there's some good players in there. Emerson
Right.
just found how to make it at the forefront, same with vocalists. Same.
Well, yeah, one last thing.
Yes. Oh yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
I saw, how on YouTube they said if you, they show you like a little selections of what else you can listen to, and that one, I don't remember what song came on, so I found it. So I picked it up, and it's that's a really good album.
I'll tell you that I'm unhappy with myself that I did that album. Two of my best songs went there that I should have used for Alliance, my own band.
Right.
And I don't like to spread myself that thin because I do 3.2. I do Alliance, and then I have December people in the holidays, right?
Right.
And that's what I want people to know about me. But they said, look, Gary Peel, my friend, guitar player from Boston, who's in Alliance, he wants to do this album. We want you to do it. Oh, and Matt Starr, the drummer. Oh, Matt's a good drummer. Yeah, and then they talk about Terry Brock, great singer. We want you guys to trade off on vocals. Like, oh, that'd be interesting. He's a great singer. So I got interested on that level. But when it was all said and done, there's some milquetoast kind of songs on there. They're good songs, but it's that, to me, it's that Fake Journey, Whitesnake almost. It's a little different than. And I just wish I wouldn't have done it. I hate to be negative about it because it's a good album. I agree, but it's just has no bite, no teeth to it like an Alliance album has,
Right.
And I just can't spread my. They just asked me to do another one. I said I'm not going to do that. In fact, the skate music asked me to do one. I said I'm just not going to do that. You know, I don't want to
Right.
spread myself thin. Um, it's not an ego thing. It's more
Right.
that I really appreciate the fans, the people like you that like what I do and appreciate it. I want to keep trying to do my best work, and I don't want something like a couple of songs on that album to water it down. I don't know.
Right.
And like
No,
the Down Lies Pages is a great, that's one of my best songs for Alliance. It's on that album. Down Lies Pages should be an Alliance song. I really, that's one of my best rock songs. Gone to an album, a band I'll never, it was put together by a record company.
oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Disin, Disingenuous comes to mind as much as the guys are great and the album's good, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. When something is like a manufactured band, it's not the same as if the guys get together, on their own,
Yeah.
From whatever parts of the world they are, and say, hey, I like to work with you, and okay, yeah, I got these
Things
other guys
happen
that
organically, like
Exactly.
you saying, "Hey, let's talk again." Yeah, well, I'd love to talk to you, right? It was we were talking on Messenger a little bit. That's organic. It
Yeah.
wasn't my PR guy saying, "Hey, we got to set you up here for another interview."
Right.
It's
Right.
better. Yeah,
Yeah. I think organic, for the music is just and I'm glad I got that, but now I can understand what you're saying. Uh, I Do you think it probably would have been a little bit better if you were lead vocalist completely,
no,
or
Terry's I don't mind not being the lead vocalist. Alexandra Del Vecchio, whatever, does a billion songs for Frontiers, and he writes them with a bunch of people and stuff. He was the producer on that album. Kind of got the material together. Honestly, I think it's the songs, and I just call it milk toast. The more cookie cutter kind of the Journey Foreigner kind of.
right?
I mean, although I forget the name of the album, but I think they used my other song as the title of the album. The Down Life Pages is one of the songs on there. I've done that. You can find Down Life Pages on YouTube of me doing it acoustically if you want to see what kind of song it is too. What's the name of the album?
Yeah. The World's Best Hope.
Yeah, see, and that's another song that should have been an Alliance song, and that was my tune. Look on YouTube for Down Lies Pages acoustic by me. You'll see why I think it's a song that I really should have saved instead of putting it in a project band that wasn't real. Anyway, I don't want to sound negative. I'm gonna have to go, man. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you again, for taking the time out.
It's a pleasure.
Really
I always like
appreciate it.
talking to you. Yeah, you're
And-
you're an easygoing guy. I like it.
Well, thank you. You are too. I really do appreciate it.
Problem.
And I look forward to whatever your next
It's
band
next year.
or
I can't tell you, but it's a big one next year. I already have a show booked for 3.2 first quarter of next year, and so I hope to do more shows with the guys. And then there's a new thing coming out, so you'll know about it.
Okay, so 2022 is going to be the year.
And we
I
did.
know it sounds
27
it sounds far away, but it's
Yeah, we're halfway through this year. My God, what
I
happened
know.
to it? I did 27 cities with the 3.2 tour. 5 shows of those were on the West Coast, 5 days in a row. Had like a week or 2 off, went to the East Coast for 22 shows in 25 days. My voice never failed. I was lucky. I'm really careful because it's 2 hours of singing and stuff's high.
Right.
2022, that's my only concern. I got to stay in good shape because I'm going to sing like I always have, and I don't want it to falter. That's why. Oh my God, it's another year away. I got to take care of my throat.
Oh, you'll do it. You'll do it.
Yeah, I think so. All right.
All right.
We'll talk soon. I
thanks.
appreciate your support and your help promoting the album. I really do.
Oh, you're welcome. And anytime, you got my support.
All right, man.
All
Okay.
right, take it easy.
Signing off. See you later.
Yeah.